I'm just wondering if like Diddy was also maybe behind the scenes working with someone else that we're not seeing, because I just like we're seeing so much about him, but Tupac at that time too was very villainized in the media because of his political stance when he rapped, because of all that stuff about, you know, politics, the politicians, you know, for the black community. Those politicians were villainizing the shit out of him back in the day. So now I'm just trying to figure out, were you working with some, I don't know, elite 1% person? Like, I don't know. That could be a reach.
It's a great point to bring, because at the end of the day, look at Epstein, right? There was a bunch of politicians there too. There's these people, and Diddy didn't do it alone. Diddy,
that's what I'm saying.
This the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, rock, top, top.
Blah, blah, blah. Welcome back to another episode of the Petty Headquarters. I'm your host, Tiana Locke, and this is
Jessie Strange.
And we are back again with another episode, and we are covering part 2 of Diddy's documentary, The Reckoning.
Yes.
All right.
I'm excited, but first, if you guys are new, we're the Petty Headquarters podcast. We cover things like celebrity drama, internet culture, pop culture, and baddies.
Right. So episode 2 takes us on a crazy wild ride. So let's just get into this week's dose of mess. Episode 2, Diddy, obviously, he starts Bad Boy Entertainment, right? And he meets with Clive Davis, where he ends up pitching this whole thing. He has him listen to Biggie. Clive ends up investing in Bad Boy Entertainment, and he has this whole thing. So now he has Faith Evans signed. He has Biggie. He has Craig Mack, I believe his name is, as well as Total, the girl group by the name of Total. And clearly this is just becoming a big success. Like, he's going up. The ego's going through the roof. He doesn't really give a fuck. Tupac comes on the scene, and Diddy wants to work with Tupac.
Yeah, and he gets denied, which says a lot about Tupac, right? Like, it really says a lot about how he carried himself and why he was such a big threat. Like, he really lived authentically through his music, and that's what I feel like is most hated. Like, Diddy hates that, because at the end of the day, Diddy has been so inauthentic in his come up. He's been manipulating, sleazy, and everything. He's had to sacrifice other people and been a liar and a manipulator to get to where he needs to be. And then you meet someone like Tupac, and I'm pretty sure Tupac fucking smelt it from a mile away. And he's like, bro, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, he fucked with Biggie, but not Diddy, which is so crazy, because he was interested in collaborating and working with Biggie. He was interested in that, but in terms of working with Puff Daddy, he was not trying to do that.
Exactly.
I wonder if his name being Puff Daddy, like,
I was gonna stem from Migo for sure.
No, like, but also, like, I'm wondering if people heard his name was like, all right, why would you name yourself that? Like, you're already giving cornball, bro.
Right. And he wanted to be a gangster so bad.
That's why giving forced.
That's why they I love that the documentary called him a paper gangster, because he was a paper gangster. He was never really about that life. He just admired the men that were in that life.
Right. He wanted to become that, and that he did.
I mean, I guess.
That he did, and he going to prison trying. It's coming back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, I guess.
But this is where we find out also about his friend that worked with him in the business, helped him grow the business, started the LLC with him, Kirk. He threatened this man with a baseball bat and like forced him to sign back over his 25% in the company.
And that was only 6 months after he had brought up. So Biggie passes away. Before, something about the contract, whatever, there was something with the contract that Diddy wanted to change inside after Biggie had died. But because Biggie had already signed the contract and it was fresh still, he wanted his friend to change in the middle of the contract certain things so that the royalties or some shit can get collected. Whatever. It's fucking sleazy ass shit, yo. And
he said he would give it back to him, but I don't know if he ever gave that back to him.
No, he never gave that shit back to him.
Right,
and that's what this episode is about, right? I feel like every episode has a message. And this really touches on the manipulation that Diddy had to really do to get to where he needs to be. It really shows you he will literally use you, kill you, step on you, use your death as an opportunity to rise on him. And even to the point where he said he was gonna, he was throwing this whole thing for Biggie's funeral, all to make his estate pay for it.
Yep.
And then to say, oh, me and Biggie were best friends. They weren't best friends. Kirk said it. And Biggie was feeling like someone was trying to take his life. He even has it on the interview. Like, he's like, yo, I can't sleep. I'm paranoid. I think someone's trying to kill me. And imagine Biggie not knowing that, yo, the person that's trying to kill you is sitting right next to you.
Yeah. It's really fucked up.
It's dark.
It's very dark. And I think you made a great point at saying that this episode really does touch on the manipulation of it all, because I think you really see it come together where not only is he threatened by Tupac and Biggie's relationship, he's jealous, right? Because he wants full control and access without having y'all being too friendly. But also, it touches on a great point of him even trying to put things in Biggie's ear.
Yes.
Like, you see Tupac made this song about you. You're going to take that? You see Tupac is saying this. You're going to take that? And it just shows you the exact image of someone that throws rocks and hides their hand. And they're not as big as they think they are. And they know that they're not, which is why they have to rely on these shady, sleazy manipulation tactics, because you can't beat nobody up.
No, and that's why he beats women up, because he knows in real life men he can't beat up.
Yeah,
like, that's really what it is.
But that's really what you get with those men that put their hands on women. That's always the case.
Of course,
that's always the case.
This is also where we see the story of like Misa and how what's his name? The guy, the guy that she was talking, I forgot their names, are terrible at him.
I forgot his name too.
But, he was just like, yo, me and Misa were just friends. Deadass, just friends. Yeah. And he was just like, no, like, Diddy made sure that he got Misa just because he wanted to get. Exactly.
Yeah. Like, you don't even care about these women. It's just about your ego, control, and all of that. And he also ended up doing this with Suge Knight. So episode 2 really shows you how the East Coast and the West Coast beef was started, as well as the beef between Death Row Records and Bad Boy Entertainment. Mm-hmm. And so Suge Knight was the owner of Death Row Records, and an incident, what started this whole beef off was allegedly Diddy had gotten someone to shoot Suge Knight's friend. Mm-hmm. And they were all in an area where Diddy was there, Suge Knight, his friend, some random guy, the shooter comes, looks at Suge Knight and shoots his friend 5 times. Mm-hmm. Guy gets sent to the hospital, but he eventually passes away like a few days later. But in that, Suge roughs up Diddy and all of this shit, just making sure that the shooter doesn't hit him, like shoot him. He'll shoot Diddy instead.
Which I think is sus. It's like, again, and I love that the audio, the video, every episode begins with Diddy got sentenced 50 months in prison. Diddy beat all these charges, because I think it's a way to remind people, because after every episode, like hearing what you just said now, it almost, you feel disgusted by how this man has gotten away. So like the fact that it's reminding you on every beginning of each episode that this man still to this day continues to get away with shit. Yeah. You feel like justice is not served.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think that, like you said, going back to what you said, it really is trying to emphasize that point and make you feel that.
Yeah.
And so going back to the whole beef, like, so the shooting of that Suge Knight's friend is what caused this whole thing. Now, East, West Coast, they have beef, right? What I noticed about this is that Diddy at some point emulated Death Row Records and how they were shooting their videos and how their artists were looking, because they were the top record company at the time.
He was studying them.
Exactly.
Calculated.
Very strategic. So he emulated their way of design, their style, their everything. And then at some point, those two were like neck and neck in competition. But this was deeper than just hits. This was deeper than just like making sales, making artists, like making music. They really got to the streets.
Yeah, for power and control, because at the end of the day, and this goes back to what I was saying, like as far as manipulation, Diddy not only manipulated the media to make them seem like he manipulated the West Coast. Of course, there's a bigger picture, but he played a huge part in the West Coast, East Coast beef, period, point blank. Then he manipulated the media saying, oh, me and Biggie were best friends. Then he manipulated other media, like, I miss my best friend. We're going to throw him to the funeral. But he also came out with that song, I'll Be Missing You. You profited off of your friend's
And then
death.
he became the star.
And you took the Rolling Stones opportunity from him.
Yeah, that was crazy because Biggie was supposed to be the cover of Rolling Stones. And literally right after that, you became the cover. Like, that's some slimy shit, yo.
You know? Slimy shit. And it's crazy because, like, it really goes to show you, like I said in the previous recap, like, this man thought he can get away with everything because look at what he's gotten away with. Suge Knight is in prison. Tupac is dead. Biggie's dead. Keefe D is in prison. You know, Cassie was quiet. Kim Porter's gone. Like that prostitute that he hired, the white guy that shot up in the Trump Tower thing. He's put away, and his bail just keeps getting his hearing keeps getting pushed back. It's like, yo, and it's crazy to think, like, even when the LAPD was talking about the Tupac murder, the Biggie murder, they said the guy who was on the case said that Diddy was he wasn't cooperating. Like, what do you mean? That's his best friend. What do you mean he's giving you a hard time? That makes no sense.
Right.
And how is that your best friend if you're trying to change the contract?
Yeah.
How is that your best friend if you just gave his family royalties a couple years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because we find out in this too where Craig Mack, one of the artists that was signed under Bad Boy Entertainment, he wasn't getting paid at all. So he's getting nominated for Grammys, all this stuff, selling out these shows, but he is not seeing a dime. And, you know, his wife or girlfriend at the time was like, hey, like, we need some money. Like, you're doing all this stuff, but where's the money? So Craig decides to confront him. He pulls out a wide stack of cash, only gives him $100 bill from it.
Crazy.
Which to me is so wild. And then this is where you also see Suge Knight, I think at an award show, Suge Knight throws shade on stage, talking about if you don't want, you know, you want someone behind the scenes, you don't want your manager or whoever all up in your music videos and then not paying you, come to Death Row Records.
Yep.
And what I noticed about this when Diddy went on stage, this is when I was like, wow, this man is really like a strategic, manipulative asshole and a narcissistic bitch. Because, and if you don't call it out, if you don't notice it, if you don't know, it'll go over your head. If you're not aware enough, it'll go over your head, because the way he delivered that speech
was like, oh yeah, peace and love, guys. Yes, peace and love.
No, but he was like, he said, yeah, who he was talking about was me. Like, I'm the one he was talking about, but also, like, I don't want to spread hate between the East and the West. Like, I'm a positive Black band, and it's about us being together. And, you know, shout out to both sides, whoever wins tonight. Da 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 da. I'm like, yo. If you didn't know, if you weren't aware, you would have really ate that up. And was like, oh my God, he's such a positive Black man doing something for the community. Like, especially during those times, you know, the community was really going through a lot. And you have someone speaking life into the community. It's easy to look at him like, wow. And that is the part that bothered me the most. I was like, you slimy bitch.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like the storytelling in episode 2 was freaking phenomenal because, like I said, it leaves you feeling angry. It leaves you feeling like justice was not served. It leaves you feeling like they need to open every case and go for this man in any way possible, because it's insane to me how it's shown. Like, first of all, whoever searched up all this footage, shout out to y'all, shout out to the editors, the storytellers, the writers.
Really did that. They ate.
Because it helps seeing the visuals. Yeah. Like, you know, we all kind of already knew or had this feeling, or it's been talk online for a long time that he was behind the demise of fucking Tupac and Biggie, right? Yeah. But to see it, to see the banter back and forth, to see these interviews, to see how he portrays himself on the media versus who he is behind closed doors.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
He's a monster.
A monster. And those are the real monsters, yo. The ones that can act like that.
Yes.
And then smile and act like this little, oh no, in your, like, that's crazy to me.
He has not a single bone of empathy in him.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You sacrificed your without Biggie, there'd be no Diddy.
Yeah, agreed. And you know, I think it's so funny how, again, he's strategic and putting himself in all of the artists' videos, right? He has to be in there somehow, because at the end of the day, he always wanted to be the star, but he had no talent and he knew this, but he still wanted his face to be seen. He still wanted to be famous. He still wanted to be, I guess, noticed, seen, recognized, and be the star.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. He wanted to be on top.
You want to be on top, and he would do whatever it takes
to be on top.
Yeah, look at how many people he screwed over. And like I said, this episode in particular leaves me feeling frustrated.
But it goes back to like ego and control, because there's also a part where Diddy clearly has a thing for stealing, you know, men's girls. Like he likes to steal their women to basically sun them, or to be like, you're a bitch because I got your bitch. And it's all for ego and control. Not even because he actually liked the women.
No.
It's just to be petty and prove a point. Like, I got your bitch. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Because then he tried, after that whole shade was thrown at him from Suge Knight, he that ass tried to woo his side piece, sending her $50,000. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just like, just to be like, I got your bitch. Like, it's crazy.
But notice how he would never confront like
of
him
course
in person.
Not. Of
because
course
it's
not.
always again going
that
involving...
man's huge.
Yeah,
he knew better.
Exactly.
He knew better. He wasn't gonna do that. So he obviously did so much calculated shit where he just threw the rock, hit his hand, and that was that.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that in episode 2. More with Tupac. The car got shot up 5 times, but he lived through this one. He was sent to the hospital, but he lived. And that's when Tupac, you know, words are going back. Like, Biggie got you shot.
Yeah.
All this stuff. So now Tupac, he's eating this up. And now he's not fucking with Bad Boy Entertainment. He's not fucking with Biggie. He makes a song saying he fucked Faith Evans. He said, fuck Bad Boy, fuck Diddy. And now it's getting into a bigger brawl where now it's like Biggie's like, damn, why we got beef?
Right, exactly. And that's why when you think about the fact that, you know, Diddy would encourage Biggie to stay in LA, knowing the tension, it's
like you wanted him dead.
Yeah,
you wanted him dead.
Stay a little longer
because he was gonna leave. He was gonna leave.
He canceled his flight.
Yeah, he canceled his flight and everything, and that is so sus.
And you can see the fear in Biggie's fucking
He didn't care about
eyes.
his safety.
You can see Biggie was scared. You can see that Biggie was like, yo, it's getting too real and unnecessary.
Hot.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got me out here flying here and there. And Diddy did not care, because a part of me really feels like he wanted that. He wanted other people to do the dirty work. He knew the narration that was already spreading, and he knew it was going to happen.
He planted it.
Of course.
So it's crazy. He really planted the seeds to start this big ass war.
Mm-hmm.
Because it starts with him, and it didn't have to get that deep, but it really all started with him.
But it goes to show you that the tragedies that continued to give the Diddy that power got bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. You know, you went from 8 people who were, you know, they were families, and even the fact that he put the like I said, like he put 75% of the company to Janice just because he didn't want to give money to the victims of that tragedy, really shows you the fucking monster and the lack of empathy this man always had.
Yeah, always.
He never had that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like now you're eating off that power, because if you got away with it then and that was 8 people, imagine 2 fucking superstars, 2 people that would be here to this very day, that would have been able to express themselves and be bigger than what they were. He killed them to get to that place.
Yeah, he didn't want them to be bigger than what they were. Like, and that's the crazy part, going back to him being jealous of all the artists because they get to be on stage. He want to be on stage. He not on stage.
Mm-hmm. Severely jealous person, severely dark energy.
Yeah.
And it feels like a little bit of black magic, like the fact that you
low key.
Yeah. And then thinking about, like, we're gonna probably get into more of this in episode 3.
Right.
But thinking that he had the prostitutes give them their semen just so that because he kept giving and giving and giving, and at one point the guy's like, dude, what are you doing with my semen? And fucking Diddy's like, I'm using it to do whatever I want with her or whatever. I don't know, I haven't heard synopsis of it, but all I'm saying is it's black magic.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he was doing some dark magic, doing a lot of that devil shit, because how are you doing all of these things and getting away with it?
Yeah.
No, but like, you gotta be doing either really connected, which he was, but also I feel like dark magic does come into play with that, because what?
And shame on people who sat by and allowed it because of money, like, for real.
And parties.
shame on y'all, for real, because it's like disgusting. It's disgusting. I got the ick.
Yeah.
This man deserves way more. And honestly, he is so mad. And I love the timing of this documentary. The timing is beautiful and it's, again, very calculated. 50 Cent don't play. Curtis does not play games.
Curtis.
He made sure, like, you know, he didn't make sure, but I'm just saying it feels calculated to the point where they made sure that this documentary came after the conviction so that it didn't interfere.
Yeah.
But also before his attempt to appeal.
Yeah.
And then before Keefe D's trial, which is next year.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So the timing is great. I think it gives people time to really sit with what victims have been saying for a long time. But, you know, but I don't know. This fucking shit is crazy. I'm crazy. Emotional.
Even the brawl that broke out after the boxing match, like with Tupac and his people, and then they saw a couple of people from Bad Boy Entertainment there, and then it was like they jumped them, and it was a whole thing. And I'm like, wow. And that is before Biggie was like, yeah, it's getting serious, because it was just like too much happening. You know, this whole situation was definitely deeper than just hip hop at that point. Like, it really became like some serious beef where like, oh, you want to take it to the streets? We're going to take it to the streets, because that's what it was. Man, I'm flabbergasted at this whole thing. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts too. I mean, I am just, I'm upset. That one really made me upset because obviously I'm a huge Tupac fan. Like Biggie, and that's funny because I'm from New York, but like Biggie's great. He's great. But like Tupac, and the fact that he's not here because of this asshole and he continues to fucking get away with shit, because I feel like he didn't get enough time, you know, for serving with the Cassie situation. So I am looking forward to hearing what the jurors have to say, you know, because I know they're going to be in the next few episodes.
I'm just wondering if like Diddy was also maybe behind the scenes working with someone else that we're not seeing, because I just like, we're seeing so much about him, but Tupac at that time too was very villainized in the media because of his political stance when he rapped, because of all that stuff about, you know, politics, the politicians, you know, for the Black community. Those politicians were villainizing the shit out of him back in the day. So now I'm just trying to figure out, were you working with some, I don't know, elite 1% person? Like, I don't know. That could be a reach, but the way how they were gunning for him in the media, on the news, really calling him like, you know, all these names, like trying to set him up. Like, you know, like they said he was a Black Panther, but of course Black Panthers were viewed as like very violent, militant. And I don't know.
Well, he also got in trouble on his own. Like, you know,
his own, yes. Yeah. But when I'm talking about when the media referred to him about his music, and that was happening to a lot of like hip hop artists, especially during that time. Yeah. But I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I mean, it's a great point to bring, because at the end of the day, look at Epstein, right? There was a bunch of politicians there too. There's these people, and Diddy didn't do it alone.
That's what I'm saying.
Diddy had a whole team behind him. He had people. He had puppies. He had, you know, he
had investors behind him too.
Clive
so
Davis
it's
was
like
an investor,
right? And who knows, like, who else was involved that we just are not hearing about?
You gotta understand, Diddy learned it from somebody.
But that's what that's
he
why
learned the insides of the industry.
And that's the person that I feel like we're not seeing, because we're seeing all these other people, you know, from the community, but where's the other person?
Yeah, well, but that goes back to the same thing. See how much they let Epstein take the fall without sharing the list, right? It goes for the same thing. Like, Diddy was the front, and he got everything he wanted because he wanted to be the front. He wanted to be the face. But in reality, he learned how the industry worked in other places, and that comes from those higher ups that we don't know. Sony, you know, Arista was the other one. Like, you know, all these people who we don't know the names because they're behind the scenes with the money.
Right.
So yeah, 100%. And obviously that is a whole separate conversation. But of course, the documentary is meant to really obviously show Diddy for what he is. But yes, there is a whole other team, and I think that's a whole other conversation.
100%, because it seemed like Tupac had more than just Diddy, you know, as a target on his back. But That's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, I mean, if you guys enjoyed this episode, definitely comment your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any more information, because I know y'all just be knowing the tea. And yeah, if you know someone that would like this episode, share it with them. You know, tell your friends, and yeah.
Let's recap. Let's talk. If you've seen it, if you've seen it, share us your thoughts below, because that's what we're here for. We're here to recap and, you know, be in real time with y'all.
Right. And with that being said, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's JESSI.strange. And where can they find you, Tiana?
You guys can find me on Instagram at randommania1. You guys can find us on Instagram at
The Petty Headquarters.
You guys can find us on YouTube and all podcast platforms at
The Petty Headquarters.
We release episodes weekly, y'all. And with that being said,
this was your weekly dose of mess.